I think maybe when we are browsing this neighborhood, I can also bring up today's topic. It's called, in Chinese, it's called 啃老族. 啃老 means living off your parents, or in English, more precisely, it's called NEET. So if you are a NEET, you are living with your parents, and in China, it is called 啃老族. Literally means eating the older people. So this is today's topic. The NEETs existed for a reason traditionally and social reasons as well. The parents or the older senior generations are the decision makers in the family. When you grew up in a Chinese family, your whole life before marriage is mostly decided by your parents. It doesn't matter if you like it or you dislike it. There's no social aid in the Chinese society to support. I cannot say there's few, okay? But in the most of the case, traditionally, if the parenting are not responsible enough, the majority of the Chinese society would just neglect, right? They neglected the problem. And if the parents beating their kids, mostly from the Chinese person's perspective, I know it's not good if you beat your children. People would say, oh, 棍棒底下出孝子, which means use the stick to make your children to be a good person. The translation is something like that. I cannot totally translate it to English because the word 孝 is kind of very difficult to describe. It's only existed in the Chinese society. 孝 means you have to treat your parents good, even they treat you not very good. 孝 means you have to earn money, provide resources to your parents if they are not wealthy enough. 孝 means you have to follow the order from your parents. 孝 means everything. Means you are a slave. You are the person who has to take the order from the senior generation without objection, without against their wills. So then you will be seen like, oh, this guy is a 孝子, right? He is a good son or something like that. Because you have such kind of like a social background in China about the younger generation has to following the order when the kids grow up, and to be an adult, they usually live along with their parents even when they turn into their 20 or even 30s, even 40s, right? Nowadays, the Chinese society situation is it's pretty hard to find a job that I talked about yesterday, about the unemployment ratio, etc., and etc. These young generations are intended to live off their parents, so they can save the rent, then they have free food to eat every day. For the women in China, the situation is a little bit different. If a girl gets married, and they can just live depending on their husband. The husband should provide the daily expenditures. The husband should put the food on the table. The husband should do all the things for the female. Because of the plummeting of the marriage ratio, and I believe the female needs are also a huge amount of the population here in China. This is give you some kind of like the background why you do have this group of people living with their parents even when they are pretty old, like 50s, right? Mostly these people were spoiled when they were kids because of the one-child policy. Their parents spoiled them, and they are not very competent to find a job. They don't have the skills to do complex work. Maybe they can just work in a supermarket, maybe just do very simple work. When you find a good job, you will still intended to live with your parents, especially in Shanghai, because for the people from the other provinces, maybe they think, okay, I have to go to Shanghai to grab money. But for the Shanghainese, this is the best city in the country, in China. This is the wealthiest city in China. And why should I go somewhere else, right? That's why you have these lazy people rely on their parents. Maybe they will give their parents like 500 RMB a month to cover their expenditure a little bit. But this is the good case. The worst case is they don't have any money. Sometimes I feel they never grow, right? They look like an older man, but psychologically they are just some spoiled kids, and they are very weak. They are emotionally weaker than the average level, and sometimes they always cry, and sometimes they run into psychological issues because in the society they don't have a status, they don't accepted by the whole society, and sometimes they don't have a good looking. To be a good looking person in China is very important. Why? Because Chinese society is some kind of like living based on your appearance. If you are a handsome man, if you are a good looking woman, what the heck? Wow. Look at this side. These apartment buildings on this side. So I think this is what I'm going to talk about in this video about the Keng Lao Zhu eating all the generations people. Not really cannibalism, but to exploit their parents for many reasons. And usually these people are somewhat like not accepted by the society, and they are actually pretty pathetic, but nobody can solve, and they have a huge amount now. So people are talking about on social medias, in the forum, and try to find out a way to resolve it, but hasn't yet finished. So yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for watching for this video, and I think I will continue the trip. If you guys are patient enough, maybe I can show you the theme park. Yeah, so that's it.